Sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Cimnanya, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. Today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about a pump-colored woman who actually mounted a gollywog. And you all know gollywog is just another name for, like, black people, and all that. And that was just a very giant gollywog, and you can see the everything that the other reason that, like trying to tell you that she was trying to get black people to talk and the rest of it. And she was reported, police told her to remove it and all that. I think she did not remove it and the rest of it. So the other one is about a Jewish woman who actually she is always telling her fellow white Jewish people that she has never received, hate from any black people for being Jewish and all that. And they are arguing with her that black people do not like palm-colored Jewish people. And I am asking, man, you people really do not know black people well enough. I mean, of course, they don't. I mean, some of them, they only see black people maybe from time, but they know nothing. They know nothing about black people. Black people have nothing to hate or anybody. The only thing they are fighting for as it stands is the system that is oppressing them. And that is on period, nothing more. You know what? Let's get into
Number one, a gollywog is an incredibly derogatory term for a black person, but you usually see it depicted as a doll. It's that super tar black face, red lips, and a giant smile. It's where minstrelsy, like white people doing minstrel shows and pretending to be black people, gollywogs are intertwined with that. They would create those dolls and parade them around. Like this particular instance, it was this lady who owned a bar who had a gollywog doll, knowing how fucking offensive it was. The police told her to take it down from behind her bar. But no, it's my God-given right. She's in Britain. So gollywogs are not just an inherently American thing. This is a global thing. Like, you will find gollywogs around the fucking world. It's offensive as fuck. So if someone owns one of these dolls and has it on display or calls me a gollywog, they gonna get touched. I'm actually trying to calm down about the second one because it makes me so ragefully angry. Wikipedia and several other sites actually talk about, when you look up alligator bait, they call it an urban legend. And it makes me so angry because one of the ploys of white supremacy, right? It will commit these atrocities just like you will see with Israel, right? They'll commit these horrific atrocities. The people who suffered those atrocities will pass those stories down and say, hey, they did this. And then the people in power will say, oh, no, that didn't happen. It's an urban legend. It's a myth. It didn't happen. That's what the alligator bait thing, this actually happened. And white people said, no, it didn't. So what they would do is they would strip the babies from black mothers, like whatever, different circumstances. Like if the child, the mother, was defiant, or if the child was, depending on the plantation, they weren't supposed to have children on those plantations or things like that. They would strip the children away from their mothers and use them as bait, literal bait. They would have the children sit on the banks of rivers or waterways and lure alligators out. They would maim the children, and that while they would hunt the alligators, but they would maim the children. They were executing black babies. They executed black babies. But it's an urban legend. It's an urban legend. It's a joke It's a joke to white folk. It's a joke to them. It's an urban legend. It doesn't exist. Stories about the atrocities that happen to black people are passed down generation to generation. These are the same people that will completely ignore the fact that after Nat Turner was killed, they dismembered his body and ate him. then used parts of his bodies as heirlooms. They took black people's hair and used it as stuffing in chairs. That's passed down generation to generation. So number one,
the denial is so real and the arguing is exhausting. It is crazy to me that the instinct to engage in divide and conquer is so strong for some people that they will argue with us about what we experience from one another, and of course the entitlement to believe that their opinion carries the same weight as our lived experience. And one of the many reasons why black people being scapegoated for the increase in anti-Asian violence post-COVID frustrates me to my very soul is because the only black people who ever spoke to me connecting my Asianness with COVID did so out of empathy. They were people who knew that I was experiencing discrimination, who were checking in with me to make sure that I was doing okay. It was only one time where I was concerned that a conversation might go sideways. So after lockdown, when things started opening up again, I was back to teaching my first day of in-person classes at a particular program. And of course, we had tight protocol. We were masking, we were distancing, no hugs, no high fives, but we were checking in with the students. And I noticed one student, she's a black girl who seemed to be keeping an extra amount of distance from me, and she was kind of hesitant to interact with me. But she was interacting with my co-teacher, and I was telling myself she's not necessarily avoiding me because I'm Asian. We've all been isolated. She might not feel familiar enough with me to be comfortable interacting with me. And if it does have to do with race, I'll deal with it in stride in an age-appropriate way. It's okay, I can give her space right now. But about 10 minutes into class, she comes up to me, and at first she's looking down, and she asks me in a very quiet voice, "Are you Chinese?" And I told her, yes, I'm Chinese American, I'm Taiwanese American. And then she looks up at me, and I see that her eyes are tearing up. And she asks me, "Are you gonna die?" And I told her, hey, no, I'm healthy. I didn't get COVID. I have my vaccine. I'm wearing a mask. We're all going to do our best to keep each other safe. I'm going to be okay. And then she says, because I kept hearing on the television people talking about the Chinese virus, and I don't want you to get sick. And she said it again, I don't want you to get sick. And it was hard for me to not be emotional because I couldn't imagine my young student at home hearing the president talk about the Chinese virus on television, worrying about whether her after-school teacher is going to get sick. So, like I said, the only black people who ever connected my Asianness with COVID did so out of empathy. Now, I understand that my good experience does not negate other people's bad experiences. Yes, there are prejudiced individuals in every group. And also in the United States, we are all indoctrinated into white supremacist narratives of one another, even if we are not white. Our work is to make sure that we don't align with those narratives. But there is only one demographic that can weaponize their prejudice to inflict systemic and institutional harm on the rest of us.
So this is all I got from this video. I don't even know why I merged both video up, but then it is what it is. It is amazing how people wake up and all they want to do is to make a certain kind of people angry. Because why would somebody mount a gollywog? If you see it, you can actually know that it's more like a black person, because it's all on and she was still to bring it down, and she said she wasn't violating anybody or something. It's really crazy how, sincerely speaking, some brown-colored people are really very crazy, very, very crazy. How would somebody, even not just an adult, not just a baby, if it were a baby, there are some things a child will do and you can ignore it, but there are some things an adult will do, you can never ignore it, because you already know that they are fully developed and know what is going on and know that some certain things are not accepted. So she knew that this is not accepted, but she just wanted to be messy like they always do. And you can imagine, okay, it's just really what it is. But then, man, some people cannot. And then comes to the second video, the other woman was saying that she is a white Jewish woman, telling white people that she has never received any hate from black people for being Jewish. And they still argue, white women also argue with her that she is in denial. She is lying or not being truthful about it. Because if you are Jewish and you are white, and black people are going to not like you and all that. And I am asking, Looks like you all really don't know black people. Black people that know how to mind their business. Like, black people don't care. They don't care where you belong. They don't care what you belong. They are not even, nobody want to talk to you. Nobody want to, like, they don't care in general. So then she's saying that she has never received any hate. And some people are telling her that you are lying. Like, how is she lying? It's really amazing how these people, like, look for a way to find themselves in black people's businesses and spaces and all that, just to make sure that they have something, something bad to tell about black people. And the Asian woman also talked about her own, how, a child was the one that cared so much, a little black child was the one that cared so much about her health. I think that was after COVID and all that. Man, you all, sincerely speaking, black people don't care. The only thing they are fighting so hard for is the system that is oppressing them. And that is just on period. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.